Yeah, he'll be out there today. We'll get you the injury report after practice. We'll see how it goes, but we'll get you the injury report after practice today.
Nick, the decision to go outside today and go over to the stadium, what kind of led to that?
Yeah, the field's frozen outside. We've tried to get outside as much as we possibly can. I mean, unless it's I really think, we play outside. So unless it's a torrential downpour or the wind's completely out of control, we're going to go outside. Can't go out there today as far as our facility because the field will be frozen. So we'll go over to the stadium.
With Jalen missing most of 3 games, are you worried at all about rust with him?
No, I think I answered this, to somebody, I can't remember who, earlier this week. This is why you practice. This is why you go through the process of practicing and all the things that you do at practice to get on the same page, to do everything there. We feel like we practice at a very high intensity level. This is why you go out there and do those things.
Has the 2 weeks also given his finger a chance to heal? Like, is that much better than it was?
Yeah, he's continuing to get better. Just,
In his time away, did you give him any kind of project to look forward to with the future opponents? I know he didn't know the Packers until Sunday.
He's always working on different, on different things and getting himself ready to play the opponent and getting himself, self-scouting things. He constantly works at that.
With postseason here, you can have padded practices again. Are you back in pads, and will Wednesday's practices be different than they were in December?
It all depends on the last game. Today we'll be in pads, but it all depends. There, for me to say right now, hey, through the playoffs we'll always be in pads. You just don't know how each individual game goes, and so you play that by based off the circumstances, everything like that. But today we'll be in pads to play. I think that's really important. We're going to play a very physical team against the Packers. Who, I can't tell you enough how much I think how well coached they are and how good their players are. They got a lot of respect for this team. You can tell on the film how much they talk about fundamentals. You can tell on the film how much effort they give, and that's a direct reflection of their coaching staff and their players.
Are there any restrictions on Jalen today, or is he able to?
We'll give you a practice report when you get out there.
Nick, such a long season, 18 weeks, to be at this point, it looks like fully healthy. What does that say? What does that speak to about it?
Yeah, I think, I feel like the main thing that you want to do is make sure you're getting better throughout the year. And so you always, you push it, you push it so you're practicing, doing the details and the fundamentals in practice. But while you're also very conscious of, that it's 18-week season. And so it's a balance that a lot of people contribute to. Ultimately, I have to make the final decisions on what I think is best for the team, of how we practice and all those different things, but get a lot of different contributions from the strength staff, from the training staff, from the doctors. Couldn't do that without them. And then you also talk to the players, how they're feeling and always being in constant communication with them. But at the end of the day, yeah, sure, luck has something to do with it, because there are some unlucky situations that happen where you lose guys. But you can't say enough about how much the guys have put into taking care of their bodies, from the nutrition, for being at the weights that they're supposed to be at, and to how they prehab, to how they rehab, all the different things that they do to take. You go down there and there's always guys doing stuff with the strength staff to get ready for practice and the prehab. That's why we give them a good amount of time before practice. That's why we moved you guys till after practice, so they could have that ample amount of time to get themselves ready for practice. So again, you can have all the right people in place, and Mr. Laurie, so appreciative that we have all these guys in place and the organization that we have. But at the end of the day, these guys got to go out and do it, and they've really taken a lot of pride in taking care of their bodies and taking care of themselves.
Nick, the Packers are number one. Packers offense is number one in terms of explosive pass plays. You guys, your defense is number one in limiting explosive pass plays. What will it take for you guys to win that battle, and what do they do so well that gives them the opportunity to throw it?
Yeah, first and foremost, I can't tell you how much I think of Coach LaFleur and his offensive staff and his offensive mind. Putting the guys in positions to succeed. I mean, I just watch him have success year in, year out. So I got a lot, and he's done it with different players. I just have a lot of respect for him and all the things that he's done in this league. And then, you see they're able to run the football, to be able to do some different things that come off of that. They got good players. Again, they have good schemes. It's good on good. It's good on good. And everything we talk about, it's going to be good on good. In the explosive play differential, I think at the end of the day, when you take offense and defense, the way we number it up, we're number 1, they're number 3 or 4 or 5, somewhere in there. And then and then in turnover differential, I believe we're very close there as well. And so I know we are very close there as well. I went over that with the team today. So it's good on good in the things that we really stress. Obviously, you can see when you watch their tape, they stress the same things. And again, it's when you're talking about giving up big plays on defense, it always starts with being on the same page. You know, we got to work our butts off in this meeting, or in our meetings and in our walkthrough and in our practice today, to make sure we're on the same page for the different problems that they create. You know, tackling, so you can get it. You know, if they do check the ball down, you get the ball carried down. That's a challenge against these guys. They have really good guys that are dangerous with the ball in their hands as far as the pass game goes, and so. Again, it always comes down to that, you know, being in the right positions, being on the same page, tackling an effort to the football.
How did you set the tone this week with your players through your messaging, Nick?
I'm sorry?
How did you set the tone with the players through your messaging this week?
You know, one thing we talked about, the main thing we really talked about was like, you know, as you come in here, you don't say, hey, we won 14 games, we won the NFC East, now here's what we're going to do. You know, and sometimes you go through different things like, you know, the different schedules that the NFL, you know, challenges you with, and you have kind of notes of what you would do here, what you would do there. Like, really, at the end of the day, it's getting back to our toughness, detail, and together, and understanding that our process through the week is what gives you a chance to win a football game. It doesn't guarantee you a chance to win a football game. It gives you a chance to play at your best of your abilities. It gives you a chance to win, a better chance to win the football game when you go through this week like this. That's been the message all year. And again, I don't think you want any of your guys going, all right, now it's the playoffs, here's what I'm going to do now. It doesn't work that way. A winner's mindset is the same week in, week out, and that's what our message was all week, or today, and it will be the rest of the week as well.
The other goal is to always have your team playing the best going into the postseason. Obviously, with the quarterback changes you had over the past weeks, the week off, are there things you've done to maybe try to make sure you keep some momentum going that you did have?
Ask me that one more time. Sorry, Alex.
Like,
Ask me that one more time.
The goal is to have your team playing the best football going into the postseason. With all the changes of the past week, the injuries, the week off, do you still feel like you're playing your best football at this time?
Yeah, I think we've gotten better as the year has continued on. Again, what do you attribute that to? You attribute that to the way you practice. Same reason why I'm not worried about rust, right, in that scenario, because I know how we go out and practice, and I know the emphasis we have in walkthrough and the meetings that you can continue to get better. And so, and it's the relentless effort by our scout team in practice, and the relentless effort by our team in practice, and that vision of just how you get better is on the forefront of our mind. And so, you know, we looked at some numbers today of where we finished in some different stats, and every little report might be a little different, but we were in the top 10 in all our detail stuff. We were in the top 10 of our tackling. We were in the top 10 in takeaways. We were in the top 10 of giveaways. We were in the top 10 of drops. AJ led the NFL in least amount of drops percentage-wise, which I don't think you can get better than 0. So he would like 97 targets and no drops, which is quite impressive. And then we talked today about, hey, if we did a stat on block destruction, if the NFL took a stat on block destruction, you know, we feel like we'd be in the top 10 there, or combination blocks between the offensive linemen, we feel like we'd be in the top 10 there. So what my point of that is, you just constantly try to get better at those things. And we felt like, you know, it didn't start off, you know, obviously we were low on the takeaway and the giveaway area early in the year, and we've gotten better at that. You know, in tackle real well against Green Bay when we first played, and we kind of put ourselves in a hole. We've gotten better at that. And so you see that through the fundamentals. You see that through the guys being on the same page. You see that, again, you see that with how the guys interact with each other, because, you know, connecting such a big deal here. So we feel like we've continued to get better, but we got to go out and show it.
A couple more. Some players have had is that it's a college-like feel here. A, how do you perceive that? And B, is that an objective of yours?
I love that. I love that because, you know, again, I think at the end of the day, it's got my start learned as I was growing up from a high school coach, and then kind of in the college world is where I started. And, you know, we talk a ton about culture, and connecting. And, you know, and I always thought of it this way, like when you play in high school, like the guys that came to to our game a couple weeks ago were my high school buddies, right? Because I knew them my entire life growing up. So you have a natural connection with them. The guys you go to college with, you're all away from home for the first time, right? And y'all are living right in the same dorms or whatever it is, hanging out with each other. There's a natural connection here. There's a lot of different things that challenge, you know, connection in the NFL. Some guys live in Jersey. Some guys live in Philly. Some guys live in Mainline, right? Some guys live in Delco, like wherever. I don't want to leave anybody out. You know, so and some guys have families, some guys are single, some guys have girlfriends, sometimes, you know, it's everybody's in a different stage a little bit in the NFL, so you have to work at that to create that. And I think that's what you appreciate so much of these guys is how much they've worked to connect with each other. Because I know this, at the end of the day, if you're a connected football team, that doesn't guarantee you win anything, but it guarantees that you don't want to let that person down. And Lane said it perfectly a couple weeks ago. We're so committed to being together and having a tight football team that we have a little bit more on the line that we don't want to let. He said, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know exactly how I said it. We have a little bit more on the line that we don't want to let each other down, and that's the key to it. And so, you know, I want there to be joy when they walk in here and see their pictures on the walls and on the video screens, and want to be around and have success and root for the success of the other guys there. And so, you know, but that doesn't happen. All those things that I just talked about doesn't happen without special people, and we have some special guys here that make that happen. Culture is your habits. Your habits are what happens by the team, and we have some special guys that can accomplish that.
Nick, you've got some young guys on defense that are going to be experiencing NFL playoffs for the first time. How would you describe how it changes the intensity, especially home game at the Lane?
Exactly. Who did I answer that earlier with? Same process, same everything. Don't let everyone is going to tell you how much more, you know, how much bigger this atmosphere is and how much bigger this is. Will there be more people on the side? I always notice that there's a little more people on the sideline. There's a couple more former players that are on the sideline in broadcasting, right? Let me see, do I know? Yeah, normally I would see there would be a couple new faces in the media here. Not today. You guys have been here all year, so I don't see anybody new. But it's really don't do anything different than what you've been doing. Like when the stakes get higher, when the game gets bigger, right? You need to lock down and do the tough detail together, right? You got to lock down and do the preparation that goes throughout the week. So you got to go and do your business to put yourself in position to succeed, and that's it. These guys too, like when you really sit down and think about it, I mean, these guys are at the pinnacle of their sport, right? So some of them have played in state championship games. Some of them have played in national championship games. Some of them played in rival games that are, you know, bigger rivals than anybody has ever played in, right? Iowa State's a big rival for Coop, right? And so that doesn't mean, you know, one's bigger than the other. Like you go to a high school football game, you go to Southwestern versus Falconer, and you tell that, and that's my team, Southwestern's my team, Falconer was our rival. You go to that school and say this game's not as important as a playoff game, and those kids are going to, that game's important to me. All right, there's nothing bigger to me than this game right now. And so these guys have been playing in these their entire lives. I want them to stick on their process. I want to stick with what got us here and not think about anything else other than, hey, again, I don't think it's a winner's mindset to be like, here's what I'm doing different now, or here how's this game's going to be different. Screw that. It's about what we do all week. It's about us.
All right. Thank you.